and then I just kind of bring the camera. Just check.
Guys, make a path for the members to get through, please. Yeah, too much coffee.
Yep.
Hey.
Sure.
Greg, what do we need?
I think we're gonna have cameras, cutaway cameras.
Hey, Melina, how are you?
Our camera,
Me there.
you there, stills up here. The pool is out there in the hallway with the cutaways. I think
I was just sitting here.
there may be someone in the center steps.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure about that.
Say what now?
There might be a stakeout at the center steps
So put that up.
if it goes that way.
They'll be
So there's press there, here.
There's not very many over there.
There's probably not. Most of them are in the hallway.
And also, he has apparently has a tape of mixed stand-ups as well. That needs to be
Should we? I guess we'll just have to make sure that the path is clear for him to get in here.
Yeah. So I have to be back there.
Right. All right.
Let's have Waddy or Joel or somebody, whoever's free.
Hey, Borg. You know what? You moved me farther over, didn't you?
No, he didn't move you. No, Jim said Lena, he's in the same place he was. What happened was that they.
Hang on, Jim, because I like to. You took some I was giving him what you give them.
When they put in the pool video camera, they moved their still.
A stop phone. Oh, that looks so much better when you say it. Thank you. Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you.
I know. Yeah.
Focus? I think it's. Well, it's 4:30 on the schedule, but they're going to be no longer than 20 minutes. It's very close. It's pretty high ISO, but that's.
Yeah,
I think that's in. What is it? What is it like? It's a pretty new lens, so it should be sharp. I haven't had a chance to wreck it yet. It's a 17.
yeah.
And that's pretty wide. That's sessions.
It's a 64, 6400.
It might actually be higher than that. 12 or 8. Oh no, it's 400.
Yeah, they'll send it to you.
And I guess I didn't mean. Yeah, as soon as I get done.
So I can taste it.
You got a little screw, Phillips, Phillips screwdriver? I do. See?
Really small? Or?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hit a Getty photo already, I'm sorry.
You're putting the camera on your.
I don't know how he did it.
No, I think he's just putting his camera on glass.
Oh, I
He's putting it on the floor, so he's just using it as an audio device, no picture.
I see. I said it. Is that yours? Oh, the one that's on the screen.
I'm just holding it in for my friends. I want them to have a work scene. I'm gonna stand next to them. See if I can catch them. Didn't like that.
Yeah, seriously.
Right on.
I've already got a whole bunch out.
See what I can.
Damn.
Sir. So, can I push your bag under that chair for the clock check?
Like we don't know you're gonna crawl.
Yeah, because I crawl. I'm just planning my movement.
Planning your crawl?
Careful. Just let me,
No, it's
just
stuck
let
on
me
there.
do it. Yeah, I do that purposely.
Oh, sorry. Through that.
Hey, man.
It's behind the door.
Manny's behind the door. Me.
Cool.
I'm gonna press myself up against this wall. Can I put your bag or put it under a chair?
Oh, really? Okay.
10 minutes. Maybe 5.
She was kind enough to wear a color that stands out.
Warmer than normal.
Yeah, it's very warm.
What'd you guys come up with, about 2,900?
About 3.
Think so.
Put it on the white bulb. White bulb works.
Okay. Okay, got it.
Ryan's on the mall.
Oh, so you're gonna be doing questions? Does CBS know that?
So you flip it.
So we have an audio. Oh wait, no. By the way. No, I mean, he'll get.
That's what I figured.
Right, okay.
Okay, all right. No, somebody was saying it was
You wanna
CNN, I
just-
think,
I
has a
can't
camera
fix it,
underneath.
obviously, so if you wanted to fix that.
Just running
Um,
audio.
that sound then can we put there going into, because it's such a change of topic, Cantor outspent his Tea Party opponent. Do we have any video of him campaigning? Is Candace campaigning?
No.
It's just a heads up. Whenever
Oh, that's a good idea, yes. He said we came up short, Okay, great.
I'm totally fine. Totally fine. As long as we've got clean cuts or something. If you're gonna be in the corner.
Oh, good, and also there was a gorgeous shot.
I'm well.
I know. No, but there was a shot, that's a different shot, there was a shot.
I think he's closing.
Okay. Well, maybe I was wrong, but I think it's, that's a nice one. Yeah, that's gorgeous.
I love it. That on a 5D is the closest thing you can be to invisible nowadays.
Like put under the ABC chair.
I suppose it's really
Yeah, send it to Kate, because I can't get it, I can't take it in.
Manny can stand.
He just is gonna put it under the chair otherwise.
Man, you could probably stand up there and be fine. You could probably just stand up there and be fine.
No, he's just tucking his stuff.
Here, I'll move that.
Oh, wow. So how often are you doing it?
Well, yeah, the producers here a lot, but I'm not here. Yeah. You want me to get Chaco to hustle that over?
Well, that's kind of nice, you can sort of choose when you want to work.
Charlie.
That's amazing. We just had that incident in April or March where the AP fired its 30-year-long political reporter in Richmond. Remember that story from Louis? Yeah. You know, one of the first, unless you ever learn the first paper, you never assume anything. And they had released some documents, and there was
I was like between
this document, PA, and they assumed, TM, they Terry McCall. And even Terry McCall said, no harm done in the story. Found out it was wrong. Not only did we let the guy go, they fired his editor, his Richmond editor, and they fired his Atlanta regional. I saw him say this. We have this on camera. Understand. But also there's the fact that
It's not. This is a really weird conversation. It's not.
there's also the fact that
You need that.
I love that you're standing here.
that way it can be mobile. The reason to
No, I think I'm on the I'm on there.
You would make a mistake. A tornado watching there.
How are you?
Yeah, but it's getting really humid.
Also note that you might, so I can't send any emails.
Yeah, under the musical chairs. I don't like to be
my favorite people to photograph. There was no doubt about it, which is kind of strange, I know. But
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Well, you're gonna be photographed by me there.
Scotty is, Scotty has a mighty journeyman.
Okay.
I'm up way high. Yeah, I'm good. That looks way cool.
Call me. We'll
I
talk.
was at 33 and then I went up to 54.
Yeah, I'm up to like 36.
Might be changing as these lights come on.
Well, we have this
That's what?
wall
Oh, yeah.
door,
Yeah,
which
this
looks
is
really blue-green.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from this, when I was
Thank you.
looking earlier on, from this angle, 3,000.
Well, you never know. You know, it's an open race. So, I mean, oh, that was why you called? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're That's quite a
If it happens, I just.
Okay, check. Got it.
Waving a teacher.
Do what?
Yeah, man.
That orange ladder that you're using, is it still out there?
Yeah, I got it right here outside this door. You want it?
I am not sure. I am now with Randall.
Huh? No. I'm just doing a Twitter for our account. Okay.
Looking to see if there was a trap.
2 minutes.
For real?
Really?
No.
Chad Perkman.
Sorry, I left.
Yes.
Thanks for nothing.
You know,
This is a pool situation here.
Who's in the back?
I can come back down the hall.
When? Somebody
When
in
are
the-
you thinking?
Is somebody in the back for us?
Oh,
Okay. Huh?
I'll go around.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I could always just go on the phone too. Tell me what you want to do. Okay, thanks.
Folks, we're gonna ask you to kind of fill in seats if they're empty around you. We're about to start.
Yeah. About to start?
About to start. They're wrapping up the meeting. They're leaving now, so I don't have any kind of warning for you. I'm just telling you it's over. So.
Hey, Ryan. Do you have a pop of tape in?
No. Need it?
I got it. Chad. Okay, great. I'm just saying, Chad. Hey.
Hi. Yep, I do. That's dangerous. Okay, go to break.
You tell them when to go to break. I want somebody with some sense of
How many years?
Yes, I'm here on the phone.
started when she was
Muy viejo. See, yes, Helen?
So I'm looking at
I just.
Someone emailed me like, I'm going to be on deadline. I'm like,
yeah.
show this stuff.
I'm talking to people and it's okay.
Okay.
AJ.
I just,
like 140 hills.
Okay, so you stay on time, right? How to work? Okay, great.
The press conference.
You know, because I got to run out of here.
you still good?
My hairbrush.
Looks amazing.
I mean, let's get real.
Melanie's makeup is better.
Always.
Sounds weird they put it on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I know. He's gonna hold his hand. Yeah, keep going.
5 minutes or so.
Stand up.
Oh, the election is going to be 1 week before. Okay, I have a little. Election, House Republican, House Republican leadership election 1 week before.
Hey, they changed it.
Hey.
I don't know how to hear this.
That's when it's,
Right? Okay.
My laptop is by your left foot.
Yeah, I see that. A big silver one. Yeah. Sure. It was really safe where it was. No one was going to go for it. There was some makeup. Perfect. Hey, Manny. Do me a favor, stand at the mic just for 2 seconds. Thank you, sir.
Focus. Test.
Yeah, that's all right. Thank you, though.
Yes, I'm cleaning them off as I.
Yeah, just a little more than 24 hours ago, Eric Cantor walked into the same room as a member of the House leadership team. We talked about Long Day, D-Day, we talked about jobs, we talked about the scandal of the D-Day, and here at the same light, I think he's going to be talking about explaining what his plans are. He's talked with the rank and file, explaining what he's going to do.
Well, before I get to that, I will tell you we have a little bit of news from a Republican leadership that the election to fill his slot and possibly other slots for the domino effect will be 1 week from tomorrow. So that would be next Thursday. And that's interesting for one really big reason, which is that the thinking in the parlor games of the House Republican leadership election is that the man who wants the job, House Majority Whip Kevin Cantor, who's now number 3, has a better chance of getting that if this happens quickly. If there aren't more people who can jump in and lobby the rank and file to get the job. We'll have some competition, but that's what's going to happen. The other thing I can tell you is that he formally announced to his caucus what we've been reporting all afternoon, that he will step down effective July 31st. He will stay in Congress through the rest of his term, but he will not be a majority leader as of July 31st. And just anecdotally, we heard several rounds of wild applause from within the room while he was speaking to his conference. And we're about a half an hour long. Most people have now left, and we are just waiting for Eric Cantor to come out.
In a contested race John Boehner won, and so Roy Blunt stayed at the whip level. And what was interesting, the guy who wanted to become the whip and planned to run for whip back in 2006, none other at that time, Eric Cantor.
You know, it'd be interesting to see what he says. I will tell you what my sources have said to me, which is there are a couple of reasons. Number one is, you know, he feels that there was clearly a message sent, and to stay longer would be disruptive to the House caucus, especially as they're trying to unite little by little as they try to do well best Democrats in November. Another reason is because there was concern that if he didn't step down and there was a resolution nobody knew which side to go, they could call for wider leadership to not jeopardize House Speaker John Boehner, which is making it more difficult for him because he was in the ability to have leaders that would have to be reelected. So those are thoughts that
So there is that part, that argument. At the end of the day, you know, the only House Republican who's lost his primary so far has been Ralph Hall. Hall finally lost in a runoff earlier this month after not getting 51% of the vote to win in Texas. And, you know, so you always have a few of these primary challenges. But the difference here, the seismic, tectonic difference here, is that Eric Cantor went supernova. You just don't have the majority leader, etc. And it's unprecedented that speakers of the House use in general elections, majority leaders in general elections.
Graphic on it? No, they keep it.
No, it's so they replace these.
Apparently the bad guy.
Yeah, there's no way to say that.
That's gonna rip it down every time.
Ball it up.
Creating jobs in the industry.
No, walking in. Because this can go on.
No, I
Except when somebody comes off.
It's
Not
from
from the center of the
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, 24/7. Yeah. Well, yeah, you don't need to take that. Well, they're going for repair first.
What do you think? Sorry, you gotta stand over here.
Hey there.
What's all the news about? What do you
We lost us. Oh man. I really hope your staff helps you out. In case the night news cycle.
No, they said they were coming and then no more guidance.
Oh, you're not talking about it.
Just ask.
He's going. He's doing exactly. No.
You could try the back. You're very welcome.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking forward to you showing me that.
That's right, it was behind closed doors, but House Speaker John Boehner's aides clearly want us to know what he said to Eric Cantor and to his colleagues, and this comes from a source we mentioned, or Deirdre Walsh. And it looks pretty heartfelt. Boehner was talking about being elected majority leader himself 8.5 years ago, and Eric Cantor being there as his chief deputy whip, saying he has always been there. No one worked harder or put more thought into advancing our principles. He also went on to quote Winston Churchill as saying, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts." And he also, Jake, you remember this, we covered this. John Boehner himself was defeated in 1998, not from his seat, but from the leadership. And so he knows what it's like to believe and to not live on your own volition. So he said that, and also put it very nice speech, very heartfelt.
You told me already. Yeah.
That sounds like this. Hey, Albert, behind you. Like, that's a terrible thing.
Don't split your hair in a ponytail.
Thanks, Frank. I got you out here.
I know, buddy.
It is a relationship. It's become less complicated in the past year and a half. The vetting folks here, we have been thinking that John Boehner would likely retire after this term, and nobody really disputed that hard in whispers. And Eric Cantor was really pretty actively preparing to succeed him. And John Boehner was fine with that. In fact, last night when the salt broke, one of the first things I was told that people who were familiar with John Boehner might be less likely to retire now. He wants to make sure that that the Republican conference isn't turned into major chaos, that he has a successor that is going to be able to handle this. Exactly.
2 minutes, heads up. 2 minutes. Those are two different versions.
Thursday.
It's another 2 minutes.
Whose clock are we on?
I'd go by his.
There.
It's gonna come out in like 5 seconds.
Okay. Remember 2 minutes.
Tom, you got to yell.
Manny, are you introducing? Are you going to say a few words?
Here we go.
Good afternoon. First of all, I just want to talk a little bit about what happened last night and then going forward. Growing up in the Jewish faith, I grew up, went to Hebrew school, read a lot in the Old Testament, and you learn a lot about individual setbacks. But you also read and you learn that each setback is an opportunity and that there's always optimism for the future. And while I may have suffered a personal setback last night, I couldn't be more optimistic about the future of this country. I'm honored that I've had the privilege to serve and represent the people of Virginia's 7th District. People often lament what is wrong with this town, but I want to remind you of what's right. I've had the honor to serve with so many very distinguished colleagues. These are the people who fly across the country every single week trying to do what they can to help their constituents live a better life. And these are members on both sides of the aisle. I can tell you I have been more than honored to serve as a part of the Republican conference and serve as their majority leader for the last several years. My colleagues and I are also admirably served by a tremendous group of staff who put in tireless hours with the same noble intentions of trying to help the constituents of ours live a better life. These staffers are the backbone of this institution, and I'm proud to have gotten to know them and their families and actually call them part of my family. I also like to recognize the Sergeant at Arms, the Capitol Police, and in particular the Dignitary Protection Division, who I've come to know personally, and I've gotten to know their often unheralded services that really are second to none. And it's been an honor to be in their company. It's especially been a privilege to get to know so many thousands, tens of thousands of constituents, of neighbors who make up the community of the greater Richmond area. You know, Richmond, Virginia is a special place that I've called home my entire life. And I know that some of you, my friends in the press corps, have joined me there recently. But I encourage everyone to make the visit soon. You know, we House Republicans have made some tremendous strides over the past few years. We fought to allow every child, regardless of their zip code, the ability to go to the school of their choice and to receive a quality education. We prioritized medical research and innovation and have led the way into an unprecedented era of technology and its breakthrough. We forced a reduction of spending in Washington in consecutive years for the first time since the Korean War. And we fought to protect people from losing their insurance or facing higher health care costs due to Obamacare. We passed bill after bill that would increase take-home pay and reduce costs for working middle-class American families. Now, some people think Washington gets nothing done. Well, there's a stack of bills sitting in the Senate that shows House Republicans do get things done. We get a lot done. And our priority is building an America that works for the middle-class families who are struggling in this country. But there is more work to do. Conservatives have solutions that can help alleviate the middle-class squeeze and provide opportunity to all, regardless of their circumstance in life. And I will continue to fight for each and every American who's looking to better themselves and help their families by pursuing the American dream. While I will not be on the ballot in November, I will be a champion for conservatives across the nation who are dedicated to preserving liberty and providing opportunity. Truly, what divides Republicans pales in comparison to what divides us as conservatives from the left and their Democratic Party. I hope that all Republicans will put minor differences aside and help elect a Republican House and Senate so that we may all benefit from a proper check and balance that leaves our nation more secure, more prosperous, and freer. The United States of America is the greatest gift to mankind, and I'm confident that our nation will overcome every struggle, exceed every challenge, and share the message of freedom, prosperity, and happiness to all liberty-seeking people around the world for decades to come. Now, while I intend to serve out my term as a member of Congress from the 7th District of Virginia, effective July 31st, I will be stepping down as Majority Leader. It is with great humility that I do so, knowing the tremendous honor it has been to hold this position. And with that, I'm delighted to take some questions.
Mr. Cantor, why did you lose last night, and what can the party learn from your loss last night?
You know, I'm going to leave the political analysis to y'all. I know that my team worked incredibly hard. They did a tremendous amount of work. I'm proud of their work. I'm grateful for what they did. And in the end, the voters chose a different candidate. Dana?
Mr. Cantor, you're going to leave the political analysis to others, but you personally, I'm sure you've done some reflecting in the past 24 hours. Do you think that maybe you spent too much time here with your job as leader, tending to your rank and file, and not tending enough to your constituents back home?
You know, I was in my district every week. So, there's a balance between holding a leadership position and serving constituents at home, but never was there a day did I not put the constituents of the 7th District of Virginia first, and I will continue to do so. Jeff?
Mr. Leader, what message do you believe that this sends about the future of immigration reform? Should it be stopped at this point, or do you think it should go forward, and what have you talked to Speaker Boehner about?
Well, first of all, what I would say, again, on the political piece of that, I'll let y'all do the analysis. But I will say that my position on immigration has not changed. It didn't change from before the election, during the election, or the way it is today. You know, I have always said the system is broken, it needs reforms. I think it is much more desirable and frankly doable if we did it one step at a time, working towards where we have common ground and believe things in common. I don't believe in this my way or the highway approach that the president has laid out, and I've continued to take that position. I've said that there's common ground at the border. There's common ground. I would like to see the issue of the kids addressed by those that didn't break any laws and come here unbeknownst to them. So again, I've always said that there should be and is common ground if we would just allow ourselves to work together. Paul?
Who do you want to succeed you, and how divisive will the election be within your conference?
Well, I don't know who it is that will actually be running. I can tell you that if my dear friend and colleague Kevin McCarthy does decide to run, I think he'd make an outstanding majority leader, and I will be backing him with my full support. So, yes.
I'm curious. A lot of focus has been on the politics side, but on the policy side, people are wondering what this means for some things like the Export-Import Bank reauthorization. You touched on immigration and some other things that are going on. Is this sort of the end of the legislating of this Congress, or do you think this Congress can still get those big things done?
We've got obviously this month and next we are very full on the floor with appropriations measure that my team and the committees are working on. We have got CFTC authorization. We've got some energy bills that'll speak to bringing down costs for Americans who are facing the summer driving season. We've got a full set of bills. We've probably got another group of human trafficking bills to be done. The chairman of the House Financial Services Committee, I believe, has announced a markup on the TRIA bill. We'll look to do that this summer. There's a lot of things in motion. So, yes, we will continue to work, and hopefully the Senate will reciprocate so that we can get the work of the American people done. Chad.
Thank you. Can you talk for a minute about, they say all politics is local here. You lost your race. A lot of people are going to try to read broader things into this here. But why shouldn't some Republicans be scared as they move into their primaries where you say you spent every week sometime in your district, where they feel that they have shored up their base and then they get a challenge? Why shouldn't somebody be running scared at this point after an unprecedented loss by a majority leader?
Again, I think that as you rightly suggest, all politics are local, and there was obviously a lot of attention that was cast on our race. But again, I think that our members are in good position in their districts. And again, I'll leave the political analysis of what happened to y'all.
Democrats said you were too extreme. Conservatives said you were too compromising. What advice do you have for your successor?
Maybe we had it right somewhere in the middle. But again, I think that this town should be about trying to strike common ground. I've always said it's better if we can agree to disagree, but find in areas which we can produce results. And I've said this before, Nancy, I've talked about my wife and I, almost now married 25 years, and believe me, we don't agree on everything. We have managed to raise our family, have a wonderful marriage. She has stood by me throughout this public office stuff. Been a strong advocate for me, and not always believing in everything that I believe in, but we've managed to raise our family and do well. I don't think that's too unlike life. I don't think it's too unlike the legislative arena, and I think more of that could probably be helpful. Deidre?
Mr. Cantor, what do you think your law says about the party's direction for 2016? Some of your Republican colleagues are already saying that it only emboldens the Tea Party to elect a more conservative, uncompromising Republican candidate.
So, first of all, Deirdre, I'm going to say I'm going to leave the political analysis of what happened yesterday to y'all. I would say about the Tea Party, remember what the acronym means. Taxed enough already. All of us conservatives and Republicans believe in that. And when the Tea Party first came about in 2009, I believe it was largely in reaction to the tremendous overreach on the part of the Obama administration with the stimulus, Obamacare, Dodd-Frank, the attempt at cap and trade in the House. And the country rose up and said enough is enough. So I do believe that what we have in common as Republicans is a tremendous amount of commitment to a better and smaller government and greater opportunity and growth for everybody. And the differences that we may have are slight and pale in comparison to the differences that we have with the left and those expressing support for liberalism and a more expansive government.
How can you ask a follow-up? How can you, if you have the elections on June 19th, and you're stepping down July 31st, can you actually have a leadership in waiting that long, or will that only create more friction?
Again, I think you have to speak to the speaker about the timing of the leadership elections, and I will say that we've got a very busy floor period. I've announced ever since the beginning of the year. We've got a lot on the floor. My team has been heavily involved with the committees in drafting legislation and making sure that we can run the floor and be expeditious in the legislative process. So we look forward to a very productive June and July.
One follow-up. You don't want to do political analysis. What about personal analysis? I mean, did you kind of look in the mirror before you went to sleep, if you went to sleep last night, and said, how did I let this happen?
No, because I really do believe that we did everything we could. I'm very, very proud of my team on the ground in Richmond for all they did. There was a tremendous outpouring of support on all sides, and I just came up short, and the voters elected another candidate.
Cantor, what's next for you? What's next for you? What's your next move, sir? What do you think you'll be doing after you leave Congress?
Well, again, that is probably between my wife and me, and I will be looking to see how I can best serve, how I can best be a part of what we really have been about here with the agenda called An America That Works. And remember what it's premised upon. The notion that conservative solutions of personal responsibility, limited government, more liberty can produce the results and solve so many of the problems that the American people have been facing in an Obama economy under the Obama administration. So thank you all very much.
Think you might run again in 2 years?
I know. Oh, yours is concluded.
No, you don't have, you know where I'm getting at. We're into the final quarter.
Yeah, right.
When you have written.
And are you, sir?
Casey, you have to pay those New York taxes. Eric Cantor. Those will get you.
Closely hired region. Not as much, but.
Allow you to flip that light switch back here. Would you flip the light switch? Thanks so much.
Well, when you go to something.